Okay, in this video, we're going to go over some surface modeling, which I think everybody's excited to learn. Today, we're going to do a little hood scoop here onto our flying car. And of course, you can go get the flying car off of my QBrush or Gumroad. It's free, so you can follow along, or you could do this to your own model, whatever you want to do. We're going to do something relatively simple like this hood scoop here, so you can get a better understanding of how surface modeling works and how to go about it, or at least one way to do it. And a lot of this I learned from a gentleman over on YouTube here, and this is his page here. He is an absolute wizard with surface modeling. I mean, he does like Iron Man, he does cars, spaceship concepts. I mean, the 3D or Logitech Master Design mouse or whatever, and I mean he is just an absolute wizard. He only does basically time lapses, so you have to sit there and kind of pay attention to what he's doing. He does show his keyboard commands, so it does help out. So definitely go check him out if you haven't done so, and give him some love because he, like I said, he's a wizard. So let's get back to plasticity here, and I'm going to show you how to go about this and show you how to, make these cool, smooth transitions between surfaces. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open up the original flying car here that you can get. All right, you can see the kind of simple little design I put on here. I'm going to go ahead and select everybody here, except the hood, throw them in a folder real quick so they're out of the way so I can select things easier. And we'll go ahead and isolate, and we'll turn off rendered. And we're going to go ahead and clean this up here. I'm going to select that. I've got a hotkey for selecting adjacent faces, the plus equal sign there. And we'll go ahead and hit X to clear that off. And then we have to go ahead and just mirror it. And then Q. Okay. There we go. Got him all cleaned up. I'm going to make these top faces a little bit better here. I'm going to go ahead and select that outer boundary there. Select that. There we go. And I'm going to patch it. I've got a hotkey for that set up too, the tilde key. And then get a G1, continuity there. Right click. Now it's super smooth. Perfect. And we only need to work on half of this model. So we'll go ahead and Alt exit again. And then don't merge them. Right click. Now we got two different bodies here. Get rid of that one. Perfect. All right, zoom in here. Get rid of that cap. Shift backspace. There we go. So now we need to start cutting and opening for our new shape here, our hood scoop. So it's quick and easy. All you gotta do is just Control R, the isoparam, and we'll go out certain ways here. Yeah, about there is good. It's kind of an obnoxious hood scoop, but it works. So we'll do Control R again. We're gonna cut our little shape in here. Tab will always change that direction. Okay, cool. Go ahead and select that face that we don't want. Gone. And if you select on the body and search your commands, you can do delete redundant topology. It'll get rid of the extra lines for you. I've got it saved as a shortcut or a favorites. We're going to select all these lines here, and we're going to do Shift D, copy the curves, and then E to extrude the curves, and just extrude them straight up. And then go ahead, select our hood, select our extruded curves there, and do a join. Join those two sheets together. See, now I can select the edges, these corners, and then I can bevel it to whatever I want. I can select that extrusion real quick, shift backspace, done. So now what we've done is we've cut we put nice little bevels inside our little squared off curve or a squared off cutout. So that's one way to go about it there. It's actually kind of easy. So now that we got that, let's start building up our shape. So we're going to borrow Shift D to duplicate. We're going to borrow that curve there, go to the side here, have them angle back a little bit, and then Shift D again. Okay, Shift D one more time. We're just kind of giving Plasticity a guide of where we want everything to, how we want the shape to flow here. We're going to rotate that. Okay. Now select this back line here, or edge, and then grab all your curves here in sequence, and then loft it. You can tab it, give it a little extra smooth this with a G2, and then right click to confirm. We can actually get rid of all the lines now. X. So now what we need to do is get this to go to this line here, and if we just did it that way, you could see that we get this weird stretching as it's trying to keep the shape smooth. Okay, so a way around that, let me Control Z that. What we can do is break up the surface just a little bit. So lots of isoparam in here. So we want to break up that face, but where do I break it up? Well, I could just use this snap right here at the end of the curve. Boom. Now it should nicely go across there. And there we go. And we can even do a G2 if we wanted. You can change the tension to make it really obnoxious, but we're going to kind of back it off a little bit. It's whatever shape you're hunting for there. All right. So let's go ahead and take our first shape, our hood, and then select everybody and join. There we go. It welded everything together. So now I can take, if I hold down Alt, it'll hit that boundary edge right there. And now I can just run my patch, which is right here, but hotkey, right? And then smooth it to G1. And as you can see, it's super smooth. So it should render pretty nicely in whatever renderer you're using. So let's go ahead and confirm. Turn the lines back on. I do have a hotkey for that. That's not set up. There's no hotkey. So it's just my little slash key. So it's just quick and easy. So I can look at the shading and see if everything's working. Okay, continuing on. So we want to go ahead and build this bottom piece real quick. So we're going to borrow that edge again. Scroll to the side here. Okay, perfect. Have it kind of dip down a little bit. That'll look good. So now we select this, loft. We do a G2, make it look nice. Perfect. So now we need another inner shell for our hood here, our hood scoop. So I'm going to select this face, Shift D. We're going to copy that. And then if you do a Control 3, it'll select all the faces and it'll switch it over to offset. Now we can bring that in like that. Does kind of make a hard, there we go. Get rid of that extra line there. That'll work. I'm going to go ahead and do a Control R here, tab it, because it's going to have difficulties. So chop off that bottom piece there. So this way it makes a nice transition between the two of these. And talking about that, let's go ahead. It's going to have a tough time running a curve or a loft between here all the way over to here. So we'll just chop this guy up. So Shift A. Just like that, those two cut. Perfect. Delete. Go ahead and get rid of all our curves here. Okay, cool. So now we run into the same problem again, is this edge here has to come to this edge here, and you look at loft, it does a bunch of weirdness up here, so let's go ahead and escape that. Let's fix that. Another cut here. Should be second nature by the time you're done with the end of this video. Loft it. Perfect. That'll work. Let's take a look at the shading. Everything's looking really good. So definitely get in the habit of checking your shading out. So let's go ahead and select everything. And a tip, you notice how there's a material on here? It's got that red car material on the hood. If you select him first and then select everybody else and then join, that material will stay with it, even the name. So whatever the first thing is that's selected will carry over. Okay, so continuing on here, let's go ahead and we will see that we have to do another cut here, obviously. Control R, tab it. Now we should be able to just roll over this loft here. I'm going to change it to a G2 and actually manually change the tension here. 2, 2, and you can see how it bubbles out nice and clean. It's perfect. All right, so the name of the game here when you're doing surfacing is trying to get it to where, at least in my mind, to where it'll patch easily. So let me select these two here and go ahead and join them. So just like back here, we got it to where it was able to patch nice and clean. So if we tried it here, we can do a patch, but it may not always transition nicely, which really is not too horrible, to be honest with you. And it was patched pretty decently there. Might actually keep that. It's pretty clean. Let's look at the render. It's not too bad. It's a little wobbly down here. Not sure if that's plasticity or... Yeah, so we'll just Control Z that. Turn that off. Turn this back on. So we can continue making some cuts in here to help it out. So I'm going to do a loft from here to here and then use this as a guide. Okay. Now Control R, we're going to cut that new face and we're going to delete that. So go ahead, select him, your new loft, join. Okay, so now let's see how this turns out. This might turn out a little bit better. Not a whole lot better. So, but it's actually a really nice transition there. A little bit of buckling here just because of that curve in there. But that's okay. I think we're going to be okay there. All right, so let's continue on. See if we can finish up our hood scoop here. And we're going to do loft. Cycle it to G2. 2, 2. Okay. Let's see if this bad boy will join together. Okay. There might be a gap there. Let's see. Let's run our boundary edges. Yep, there's a gap there. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and do this. Delete that. That takes care of that. That should be fine. Perfect. Okay. So let's join this bad boy together. See how well he does. Let's do Alt X and Q. Let's run our boundary edges. Ah, looks like we have a little bit of a problem. Obviously, we got the the back part there, but these two guys are having issues, so let's just Control Z. And that's an easy fix. You just go ahead, extrude them out, Alt X, Q, and now run that. Okay, perfect. So it's just that back portion there, done. Patched up, now it's a solid. We are good to go. So now we can work on a little chrome piece up front here. So I just need to copy some stuff here. Shift D. Okay, we're going to cut him up real fast. And this is just our little chrome piece, our little fins or whatever, vents. And do Shift A, do our big vertical cut here. Okay, cut. Okay, gone. Do Shift A, we're going to cut this bottom portion off. All right, perfect. Now I should be able to just take him. We're going to go, oh, we don't need to. Not yet. All right, Shift A. We're going to cap that bottom piece real quick. While that guy is still selected, select around here. Try to. Patch. G0 is fine. Oops. Okay. Rid of him. Focus. There we go. We're going to select the boundary edge and we're going to cap it with a patch. That's fine. Now we got our little chrome piece here. I'm just going to smooth that transition out. Perfect. All right, let's come out of isolate here. Now we got our two parts here. I'm going to select the hood. I'm going to select our little chrome piece here. We're going to do Q, Shift Q, and that's going to slice it. Right click. All right, so now deselect everybody and let me hide him. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So now let's take him, isolate. We're almost there, guys. Alt, Control 2. Now select the edge, the boundary edge of your faces that you have selected. That'll work. And come out of isolation. Select our hood. There we go, Control 2. Come out of isolation here. I'm going to zoom in so I can see everything. And then I'm going to select that, fill it so it copies the exact same amount. Right click. There we go. And let's turn on render. Take a quick gander at this. This is looking really good. Nice smooth transition. And let's go ahead and just do those fins real quick. Isolate, turn everything back on. What I'm going to do, I've got a hotkey for curve here, so Shift Z, tap him. Okay, got that. I'm going to extend these points out just a little bit because I want it to follow a curve so it keeps the curvature. And we're going to do one of our new commands, extend curve. I already know what I want, 0.015. Okay, take the other point. Okay. Now let's go ahead and draw a profile for this. just going to get a corner rectangle here. And we're going to bevel him. Scale him down. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate. All right, so G. All right, we will go with that. So I'm going to select that region, Shift P. Okay. Now we created one of our vents there. Let's go ahead G. We're going to move them down. Move them back just a little bit, maybe. There we go. We go ahead and get rid of all these extra curves. Turn that off. Come out of isolate and just do a quick rectangular array. We use that curve down there to help us out. Then I can suck him in a little bit. Get him to where he's, there we go. Now he's on the chrome piece. Perfect. Select the chrome piece, Q. Oops. Q, Q. And there we go. There is our new hood scoop. Let's turn off the lines, turn on the render mode, escape. There you go. So yeah, it took a little bit longer. It's not like polygon modeling where you can just kind of drag stuff out and smooth it out and make it look pretty. It takes a little more work, but I think the results are a whole lot better. And I hope you learned something from this video, and we will catch you in the next one. You guys have a good day.